So a lot of you might be pretty upset by the recent confirmation of Citadel of Treachery over Citadel of Deathmatch, which it's kind of a result of the developers. It's certainly not a result of creators have done. It's what the staff team has caused, and it's really not that hard to prevent issues like this. I mean, I personally think the best way is that for all Citadels to have the community vote for the Citadel, because there is no slot better than the Citadel for community voting. It's the one that ends up kind of sticking out the most in the area besides the soul crushings. The Citadel competition is usually a lot smaller. People are looking for a grand experience in a Citadel, which I feel like the big flaw of Citadel of Treachery is that it's really just a long neoclassic tower. It's like about 40 or so minutes long, but it's not really climactic in any way. Like, the music choices do get a bit more interesting later on, but it's not really what you'd want to see compared to Citadel Deathmatch, which it's a battle between two Citadels, but it's really just Citadel of Lethargy and Citadel of Inferno's End all over again, which it's kind of disappointing to see it happen twice, which you'd think the devs would have moved on, the staff team would have moved on from that incident and learned from their mistakes, but no, they repeat it again. Citadel of Increasing Claustrophobia, it didn't have the flaws that Lethargy and Treachery have. It also was going against a Citadel that isn't even liked anymore. People don't really like Citadel of Overcoming This World's Imperfections, mostly because it's really just a glorified low insane that's just forced into remorseless because the rules for SC Citadels had not been changed yet. I think for Zone 10, it's reasonable to allow an insane Citadel, but the biggest flaw is for sure, just as a tower by itself, ignoring the fact that it's literally the Citadel of what would have been one of the best areas in the game. It's mostly the punishment dynamic, which I think it's mostly fine until around the last third of the tower. It's got these really annoyingly loop failable floors, and then you have this section. This is actually, in my showcase, this was like the floors that I started failing on. This failed this, and it was like, I would have died. It was like right around here. Yeah, I think it was this jump. It's just not really what people wanted. It's definitely not what people would have wanted for this area. Like, Citadel Deathmatch was blatantly better. I think that the staff were more than aware of how things would go, but instead they enabled it to happen. I think this community has been seen as negative for a long time. If the EToH staff don't change, then the community can't change. If you don't enforce something like proper moderation, which I have consistently pointed out the blatant hypocrisy in the staff team. The punishment from this is like the last 3 floors, right? You fall once, you're losing a minimum of 5 or so minutes of progress, which is a very minimum. Probably closer to like 6 or 7 minutes. It's a really punishing Citadel, which I think it's low remorseless. Even then, I don't even know how hyped this would have been for 2021 standards. I mean, in general, just seeing anything by Crazy50, it's been a long time since we've had a tower by him. Oh, this is the final floor. In general, though, I feel like the gameplay is kind of basic, and there's a lot of just random skips. I'm gonna go to this floor. This is like the most blatant skip ever made. You're supposed to like jump here and go here, but it's literally the most obvious thing in the world that you can just go up here and then shift lock. Now you're just doing basic jumps. Skip, skip, skip. If we go to like some of the other floors, there's a few annoying weird jumps. This jump is kind of bad. You have to like do a really weird timing maneuver. It's like, you see I barely made it. This is like one of the dumbest things I've seen. Like, you have to like wait for the timer to get out. Watch what I do. That's like not how you make gameplay. This wasn't really the most playtested Citadel because it was just so unpopular due to the fact that everyone wanted Deathmatch in, which is just kind of sad. Oh yeah, and in general, the Citadel is like not balanced at all. Like these are like challenging wraps. Like maybe even you could even argue high difficult if you wanted. This platform, I remember like I jumped here. You literally make the player have to like jump down if they get stuck in the middle or something, or like have to like walk around for a long time and then jump back to the other platform here and then back onto this. And then if you're waiting here, you have to like have like a weird annoying cycle. The fade platform gimmicks, I don't like them. It's kind of just lazy, especially whenever it's just over tightrope gameplay. You're trying to make gameplay that wouldn't normally pass look like it deserves a pass, but it is what it is because developers never actually listen to the community, do they? Like we think in the most obvious cases they'll listen to the community. No, they don't actually listen to the community. They'll want to find reasons to blame the issues on the community, when in reality they're kind of just enabling the issues to continue, if you see what I mean. Because the general population of the community is not always terrible. There's just a loud minority, right? There's definitely a lot of bad people, but there's also a loud minority that's just kind of making it worse for us. There's also a broken morpher. They literally listen, there's a morpher that's supposed to go from here to here, but it's broken. It was broken in the showcase too, and that's why I was like confused for ages. But overall, Citadel Treachery, I genuinely can't give this more than... my system's really strict, so to get like an 8 or higher, you have to be like one like around the top 50 best towers of all time. So I rate it C tier, which is about a mid 4. That's about your average EToH tower across the whole game, which means it's not really too terrible, but for Citadel, it's not really what it should be, right? And then on the other hand, we have Citadel of Deathmatch. This is a masterpiece. Just look around. It's sad that this loses. I remember the curator Cone was saying that he thinks that Citadel of Deathmatch is too long and not to the point. If that was such an issue, what about Zone 10? Don't we have Tower of Prismatic Instability, 45 plus minutes, everyone saying that Floor 5 would be a better ending for the tower than the entire second half existing. You say the first 15 floors is not very climactic. Then you still say tower with this many regions. Like look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other regions besides the sword fight mountains. Where's floor 15 exactly? This is kind of where the fighting starts. Which I don't even think that this should be like a fighting heavy Citadel. It's not really that heavy until like here anyways. Even though the gameplay looks a lot more simple, and it's a bit easier than Treachery's by a bit, it's just way more fun, you know? You have some of these fun stuff like this, so sword fight buns, which they aren't like excessively complicated, but they feel way more interesting than like Citadel Treachery, right? And then about beginner friendliness, this is really sight readable. Citadel Deathmatch is also a lot less punishing than Citadel Treachery. Like if we're talking about beginner friendliness, Citadel Treachery is like really punishing, like I've explained before. Most of the floors in this tower are like netted. Whenever I beat this, I didn't have a single fail that would have led to my death. If we just start playing floor 1, it seems like it's nothing special, but it's not like Citadel of Treachery is either. And the thing is, staff say it's like better because, oh well, Treachery has better gameplay, but then, and then just in general, like the theming and quality of Deathmatch is just so much higher than Treachery. The Treachery is just a generic neoclassic, and then this is just like above and beyond what a tower would normally be, and that's because it's a Citadel. A Citadel should be above and beyond what a normal tower does, but Treachery doesn't really go above what a generic neoclassic tower would do. I forget which floor you get the sword on. It's really early on. There, that's a sword. So I'm just gonna fly over to floor 15. Why aren't they targeting? Oh wait, I need to be on a team first. Oh yeah, and then if you fall, I guess it's netted. But for the enemies that start attacking you, I think you need to like hit. Yeah, so that's good enough. I mean, look, I'm not even really taking much damage. It's pretty simple, actually. And if it really came down to it, since this is a verified builder project, something like Tower of Oblivions, preventing the player from dying if they hit 0 health, instead they just get teleported to the last checkpoint, or really like the start of each floor, which is usually indicated by that, would be a pretty good solution. I don't really see any problems with that. I don't really think the gameplay is that problematic, since if it's supposed to be beginner friendly, then it shouldn't be like too crazy, right? So unlike Citadel Treachery, this doesn't have random like 6 jump sequences over the void. The boss fight's just pure aura. Like, I think this is kind of what makes the Citadel such a well-received Citadel. And then you're telling me that they think that the gameplay of this Citadel is disappointing. Or even just like any of it being worse than Citadel Treachery is a bit absurd. I forgot to get the healing potion, since that's like on a different floor. You can like heal very quickly, so act like I had it. So this is one of the most interesting towers. It's Tower of 10 Floors Challenge. So it's known for its minigames, right? But I need to get up here quickly because otherwise this jump bar is going to run out. So here's floor 10. This is a high peak hard, according to staff, but I think it's, first off, just blatantly difficulty. Second, this is the complete opposite of beginner friendliness, which is what Kinetics has said was the main priority of picking towers for this area. So I'm going to do floor 10 legit. I want you to see how difficult this is, and in fact, I'm even going to pull up no board. Here we go. I mean, look at how many things are going on. Is this beginner friendly? You have so many mechanics going on at one time. Oh wait, oh, ooh. That might be... That was a bit stupid on my part. Oh, crap. I'm terrible at this. I literally got S rank once. And I'm like fumbling so hard right now. Let me get layer 2. This is so many things going on at once. There's like, I think there's literally... Wait, they didn't get rid of those? I swear they got rid of the text messages. Did they change the rules for the Middle East and that's why it's back? Anyways, that's like way too much stuff to do at once for a hard. Yeah, don't click. I kinda wish there was like a special speedrun mode for this tower. Oh, oops. Oh yeah, At least there's like this highlights thing that turns on if you're running out. And then I wish there's like a way for like trusses to not count for all that. And that's already all the coins. But you need to still get it once you get to here. This is just so much.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
And you're totally saying that this is beginner friendly, am I right? Yeah, it's not really true. I thought about the idea of Citadel of Treachery moving to Forgotten Ridge. I feel like there should be like an extra area to this game that's like just for these weird neoclassic towers. So what I think would be best fit for an area like that would probably be, from this area alone, Tower of 10 Floors Challenge. The competitor Citadel Deathmatch would also fit in this neoclassic area for advanced towers. I'm just gonna do some gameplay. Another good tower to have would be Tower Falling Up. It just doesn't really fit Zone 9. I don't really think there's too many like weird neoclassic maybe Tower of Mach 9, maybe something more. We also had a few questionable picks for some more other slots, and I think the best solution is just make this like a full net, because literally if you fail like this stuff here or here, you're like falling all the way down to floor 1, and there's not really any button progress. And this is actually one of the longest towers for this area. It's like nearly 30 minutes long. Another weird thing about this tower, if we go under here, does this look like one floor to you? Because the upper part is actually only 9 floors. But there's a big basement floor. This is like one floor of its own. This is like 2 floors right here, and a third one for the fake crossing. This is definitely not one thing. And what's with these towers like trying to go from almost no design to like ultra crazy decoration? Can we not have any more Tower of Contrasting Theme clones? Kinda weird whenever you just half detail tower. I'm pretty sure all of these are like beat blocks. That's a beat block, yeah. The slight change in movement is a result of a beat block. This is like really unoptimized. There might be a way to make this more optimized with CCOs, or I don't think these are GIFs, because GIFs are like really hard to upload with Roblox. If the goal of the area is to be beginner friendly, this isn't really the best pick we could have gotten. There's several other difficulties I had on my spreadsheet. I think Steeple of Beware There's Bees is like still more sight readable than this. I don't think this is like too bad of a tower though. It's like the difficult picks weren't like the most wrong in my opinion. Oh yeah, and then Tower Fly High. This is a very interesting tower. I think it's one of the best towers made, but it's not really beginner friendly in the slightest. And yeah, obviously the creator Zabriga earned verified builder from this. This is kind of the stuff that I feel like it would belong in the Starlit Archives more than anything. Yeah, there. I mean, like, I know it's technically made without custom client objects, but it's like with like a super complicated button pushbox sequence. The gameplay is not really hard. In fact, it was actually originally intended to be easy. And then the reason that I'm kind of just I don't think this is a bad tower at all. It's one of the best made, but my problem is that it pretty much cheated its way through polls by going from, it was originally whitelisted as medium. Then it was going to be polled as hard, then it changed back to medium during polls, and then back to hard. Like that's just blatantly kind of messing up the pulse, right? There was five other medium contenders and around 10 or so hard alternates. This is one of my favorite Dusk Pyramid towers, but this is not Steelspire Horizon type of content. Okay, there's a few parts about this tower that I think are just really poorly executed, because everything that isn't over a net will just lead to your death. So this outside here, that outside here, a lot of this floor and that floor, and some parts of this floor. The gameplay in some of these parts is really unreadable because Dusk doesn't ever do like beams. This is one of my least favorite jumps. In my showcase I got confused here so many times. So there's like you have to jump here, but because of the kill bricks it's hard to tell, and if you fall, guess what, you have to restart and do 4 floors again. I kind of think this is a bit harder than Low Remorseless, mostly just due to the fact that it's like 25 minutes long and a lot of it's just over the void, right? So you like jump here to here. Yeah, you have to like activate that one. But if you fall, like, good luck. Now you have to like, you might lose a ton of progress. And then, oh wait, you're supposed to go here. Yeah, that's the thing with these. This needs to extend further out because I swear it just looks like a wrap. And I can't really see that from my point of view. This is a really wacky jump for being over the void. Yeah, so if you fall through these gaps, you just die. But if you make it to here, then you can get back to like the start of the floor. Yeah, that's kind of a weird punishment dynamic. I think with some of these expanding morphers, it would be better just to have like some kind of outline showing where it goes to instead of just a neon line. Kind of like Tower of the Drifting Amalgam. This just looks so goofy. There's a better way you could probably make this look, but it just looks so goofy. Overall though, this tower is really good, but it's blatantly Dark Side of the Moon competition. And as you can tell, 1, does not fit the theme at all. 2, it's not really a beginner-oriented rem. Not that rems really should be focusing on that, because again, like I said before, if this is a beginner-oriented area, the Remorseless being beginner-friendly doesn't really need to be the focus, so it doesn't make sense to really carry that out onto the Citadels, like I said before. But I still like this a lot, but it was obviously for Dark Side of the Moon, and then Dusk decided to move it to here, just like a bunch of other verified builders actually, which is, it's kind of just sad to see that it's all just verified builders moving their stuff to this area. It's not a coincidence when it stacks up multiple times, you know? Even just like in general, towers that just don't even fit the theme, only about a third of the towers for Steelspire Horizon actually fit the theme of the area, which isn't really great. And it's also kind of just sad that there's so many towers for this area. Steeples. I kind of have a hot take. I think steeples should be more normalized. I remember Gammo's having some ideas for World Free and changing up its system. I think steeples would be a good thing to allow in World Free because the average tower length has started to drift to around 20 minutes long. Next, I'm going to talk about tower speeding right through. Tower speeding right through is, in my opinion, a glorified Remorseless, because the thing with this is that it was first off intended to be a bottom insane. I think it should just be nerfed down to Remorseless and we can get a better insane. I really wish that we had Tower of Downpour Vortex. I had a video on Tower of Downpour Vortex's final stretch. The new floor 10 is just amazing, and I'll show you again in a second. Floor 1 is pretty much just Remorseless difficulty. Oh yeah, there's one annoying thing. These spinners are a bit buggy on high FPS. They aren't in that many floors though. All of floor 3, except for a singular part, is like Remorseless difficulty. Also, most of this tower is outside, but this part This is like the only SC part of the entire floor. As you can tell, the jumps are kind of hard. Whereas like the rest of the floor immediately after is like completely just... This isn't... Some of these jumps could actually fit in a difficult unironically. That's the state of how easy some of the jumps in this tower are. That part's like challenging difficulty. This is literally peak unbalancing. It's even worse than fixture parquet balancing. Like this, everything I am showing after that one section was literally like below remorseless. Floor 6, nothing really too hard about it. It's time though, and like every mistake you just die, but it's not even like its raw gameplay is that much easier than the rest of the floors considering some of its bouncing. I literally show you that section that had like difficult to intense raw. Floor 7 is entirely netted. Floor 8's kind of where the pain starts. The difficulty just ramps up so badly. Yeah, so this jump. That's over the void, by the way. This is another type of stuff that Zach will probably net in his towers. You have to like do some really tight walking here. And then it gets free at the end. And then this jump onto this truss is like super wacky. This jump is like the most forced flowy jump of all time. I don't think this middle pole is necessary. Okay, wait, I just turned off my brain. But yeah, it's like super forced. And you're also like standing on the falling platform for a bit longer, which isn't really the best idea since how things work. But this isn't even like that hard of a floor compared to the one after. Floor 9 is super hard. First off, this first jump is just like kind of weird. It should be like, move this over like maybe a quarter of a stud. I don't like this jump. Because there's a few of these truss flick on speed sections. And they're really tight timings, no matter what FPS you use. Most of the truss jumps aren't even flicks, so for consistency's sake, I feel like it would just be best to not use any speed truss flicks. And then afterward is like, you have to... Oh wait, there's a platform. This platform here is not easy to see. Oh, you can like overshoot way too easily. Oh wait, no, I think that's if you fall. Yeah, that's just... This thing will just bounce you. I don't really like it because this platform is super hard to see. So you might get here in a legit run on a sight read, and then you'll hear it, and then you just like jump, and then it's like you fall to your death, right? Like you're here, and then like you just fall. Again, floor 9, I said there's way more issues with this floor than any other floor. This jump is super long. This weird speed booster part. I swear, there's just something with this part that's just unfair. You have to like do this weird buffer to make it on time. And then you're met with these platforms right here, which if you don't know that they're here and forget, you could just like fall to your death. And then there's trusses here, but then it would immediately have you walk onto this. That's not how you build. This is the type of stuff that Zacro would normally net in his towers. Because, first off, the way that this X-Pusher pushes, it's super inconsistent because of how light it is. You have to like micro-tap that genuinely. Yeah, I had to micro-tap that. Whatever this jump to this platform is really annoying because I swear this jump sequence was not always in this tower, but it's really inconsistent to do, and the fact that it's unnetted too is just kind of scary. Yeah, that's a really sketchy jump. And then floor 10 is super flawed because you have like 200 seconds to do this floor, and there's like free checkpoints if you fall, right? In concept, that sounds good, but the thing is, you have to be so fast for those checkpoints to even mean anything. Otherwise, you're just going to run out of time. So you have to... Are we dead ass? The only insane thing about this is how unbalanced the manages to be. Most of the floors are either remorseless or extreme difficulty. There's no in between. What was that? It literally flashed right as I landed, so I literally fell. There's literally Z fighting on that. Confirmed tower, by the way. I can't even see that's like a falling platform. This thing's a really awkward tight timing. That should be like semi-transparent so you don't have slightly blind gameplay. This thing is extremely confusing. I don't know why you had a guide on that other jump and not on this one. You need to get that one and then barely have enough time to make it through. And I can't lie, this is a pretty cool ending. I think what you really need to see though is Tower of Downpour Vortex. This is just absolute peak. The final stretch is the definition of perfection in terms of soul crushings. This is the best thing I've played. I mean, just look at it. This is aura. You're telling me this lost to speeding right through. Pretty much every tower in the Steelspire Horizon competition for Insane was like themed after a storm. But this tower definitely was the best at doing that theme. If we put all factors together aside from theming, I still think this tower does better in every category possible. The decline object gameplay is just like so sad. This tower is very long and I think it's fair for soul crushings to be long. If you're meant to be the hardest tower of an area, it should be long. I want you to see the final stretch. This is aura. I will have to pitch the music down a ton so that it doesn't copyright this video since everything else is meant to not copyright. But just watch this part. You can also check out my video showcasing this on my channel as well, because I'm not going to show the whole thing. The gameplay is just like so satisfying to do as well. This is like more fun than speeding right through, and the indication's also done really well. A lot of these towers for this area have spinner gameplay. Like I know this and Tower Spin to Win had a ton of spinner gameplay. This outdid Tower Spin to Win in every way, and I honestly thought that Spin to Win had a better chance than speeding right through, since Spin to Win kind of got last minute updates. Oh yeah, this floor is like actually like 5 minutes long. And this is floor 10. The final stretch isn't just some bonus thing added on that violates frame rules in every way possible. About this tower, if it's beginner friendly or not, first off, in Insane, it's not going to be beginner friendly ever. But second, I feel like it's about similar to the rest of the competition for Insane in terms of friendliness. Since the jumps are so indicated well in this tower, I think it's actually the most friendly. Oh yeah, fun fact, I actually gave a little bit of feedback to the creator, and it was really cool to see some of it implemented. But I'm just like really disappointed that this didn't get in, because the Citadel and Insane are like the most important things to get correct. Well, the Citadel and Soul Crushings in general, but in this case, the Insane. Those are the most important towers to pick the correct tower for, and to see it not really be what people wanted, especially the Citadel, that's kind of where it becomes a problem. Just look at the detail in this tower though, it's just crazy. And it's nothing short of perfection in every category possible. That kind of goes down to another big issue of this game. The competition pool has gotten to a point where towers have to have essentially bias in order to get in, because there's so many competitors that now you just need to have that tipping point of favor. And so that tipping point of favor comes down to bias. And in the case of Citadel Deathmatch versus Treachery, that's a different issue.